back in the studio, and it is January the 17th, Friday. We're getting over the hump in January already. But we have with us right now Franklin Fumes. I always forget that last name because you're just Franklin to me.
That's right.
Who's from the sales department, and he's going to bring us up to date as to how we're doing. I know we see a lot of empty apartments around, but I'm going to let Franklin tell us about that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy Friday. Happy to be here. Yeah, look, the sales and information department, along with this community, is actually doing quite well.
Very good.
In terms of availability, we're really down in the teens. Right now, our team is striving to get down to the single digits and eventually get down to zero. So doing quite well. What I would say is, for the most part, as residents are out in the community, a lot of the apartments that you see are apartments that are getting redone for the next person. There's a lot of things that are going on nowadays as folks are moving in. As you and I were speaking about it before, you know, folks have homes to sell. Sometimes those who are out of the area, it takes a little bit longer. But ultimately, we do have folks who are interested in apartments and are going to be moving in pretty soon. So,
very good, very good.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
So don't panic when you see all those empty apartments. They are being spoken for.
Definitely, definitely. Like I said, we want to make sure we put our best foot forward when it comes to our apartment homes. So when it comes to our inspections, when it comes to the amount of detail that goes into our apartments, we take great pride in making sure that our residents are coming into the best possible opportunity in apartments. So yeah, we just want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah, and we were talking about the idea of some people maybe wanting to downsize from the larger apartments. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, so it's you know, for those who are potentially looking for a change, in your particular case that we were talking about, into an apartment that's smaller, come talk to one of our sales counselors. We're certainly happy to have a conversation about it. Because the reality is, a lot of folks who are on our priority waiting list are looking for the bigger units. And so when there's an opportunity that's advantageous for us, we certainly want to make accommodations to be able to make that happen. So should you have any questions about it, either see myself, one of our sales counselors, and we'll make sure we'll give you the right details about how all that works.
Okay. So if you're rattling around in one of those big apartments now after changes in your life, go see them and see about maybe going to a smaller apartment where it's easier to take care of and you don't have so much stuff around. So. Yeah,
no, definitely. And we encourage it. You know, I've had a lot of residents reach out to me and say, hey, look, I'm just looking for a change. Now that I've been living here for a few years, I've realized that where I am in my life, I want to be around town center. I want to be or by Village Square and so forth. So again, whatever that reason may be, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, I've known of people who moved because they wanted to be in a particular area.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's a great phone call to us. In fact, my event coordinators potentially think I'm doing something like a smaller seminar, so that if you wanted to maybe potentially have that conversation in a group setting, we might be able to do that. So we're always looking at different ways of giving out information and being able to communicate effectively with both our prospective residents and our current residents here. Because again, we want to make sure that everyone's happy in their home and in their current living situation. So if for whatever reason you want to have a conversation, we certainly welcome it.
So what kind of special events are you having these days?
Yeah, so 2020, start of a new year, start of a new decade, so we really want to rethink, freshen up a lot of the events that we've been doing in the past. Because folks are looking for new information, looking for, and I would say a lot of our prospective residents moving in and that we're talking to are very educated on what's out there, the services.
And there's a lot more out there than there used to be.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much out there that where do you start, where do you begin?
Right.
And at times it can be overwhelming. So, you know, in our conversations that we have in our luncheons, we've kind of switched up the conversations that we have. You know, we're certainly promoting our residents to have these candid conversations about what does downsizing look like, what does selling your house look like, what are the scary times when it comes to the move, what's the reality of living here at Green Spring. And so what I find is that authenticity that we get to give our prospective residents during these events really have proven fruitful. The conversations that I've had with most recent residents moving in is that they really enjoy the fact that they're getting what they thought they were going to get based on the conversations that they had, and that's always great to hear.
That's good.
We have an event coming up on the 24th. It's our seminar with focusing and highlighting our personal moving consultant. So it's focused on downsizing. Right, that's the biggest concern, biggest issue.
Oh yeah, what do I do with all that stuff in my four-bedroom house?
And I always ask, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, Franklin, I've been collecting things for the last 40 years.
Yeah, right.
And I say, oh, okay, all right. So we have to start from somewhere.
Right.
And so this event is actually really cool. We're trying it out where the focus is giving you tips and tricks that you can do while you're in your home, waiting for the apartment to become available that you're looking for.
Right.
So how to downsize, what has value that you could potentially get, compensation for, and so forth. So, a lot of great ideas out there, and we want to offer it as a support group. So what we're trying to do is we're going to let them know that we're going to do a bit of a contest, if you will, a challenge, where based on those tips and tricks, we're going to say, hey, for those who are interested in making something happen this year, let's downsize a room. Let's downsize maybe something that's important to you, and we're here to support you. There's going to be a group of people who are going to be under the same umbrella, so they can support each other. We can support you. I like to call it our accountability coach. Sometimes, for as much as we want to say we're going to be our own accountability coach, sometimes, I know for me personally, sometimes I make excuses for myself.
Don't we all?
To have someone who can help you through that, I think is really important. So we're really excited. After this event, we're going to be doing follow-up events throughout the year. So it's really kind of the steps that you take in order to get ready.
In order to get moved,
yeah, we're excited.
Get moved in. I know one of the things, well, a couple of things I always push when I talk with people about moving from a home to a senior place is, are they a CCRC?
Right.
Because many of them are not. You know, is your deposit refundable? What is it built like? For instance, we have such a solid building here that is virtually fireproof.
Yeah.
And some of these other buildings are not. And to me, that is a great comfort.
Yeah, safety and security. I would say another thing that's really important to the folks that I talk to is the people.
Yeah.
I think for as great as the services are, amenities, the people really are what make the community a community.
Right.
And so I always encourage folks that I talk to, walk the halls. Are people genuinely happy? Are they coming up to you? Are they encouraging you to move to the community? That's the inclusiveness that you're really going to see at Green Spring.
And I think you find that here.
100%. I say, look, Green Spring, it's not just a continuing care retirement community, we're a family.
Right.
And so we have individuals that are all from different walks of life, different perspectives, different opinions, but yet we come together to help and support each other through the good and the bad. And I think that's important because as we age in place, we want to make sure that we're in a community that we know and love to be able to take care of us in the future.
Right.
I tell folks, for as much as we want to make this a logical decision, like, hey, this is the things that I need to be thinking about in order to make the move at Green Spring, the reality is, as human beings, this is an emotional decision.
It is an emotional
It's very much an emotional decision. And so you have to feel connected in order to make the move, because if you don't, then I wouldn't recommend you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's true when you walk around that, as you see people who are wandering around, talk to them, offer to show you your apartment. It may not be clean, but show it to them.
Definitely. I always encourage folks to talk to our guests as they're coming in because I always tell folks we don't pay anyone or to say anything to you. I mean, we want the authenticity. So we want folks to be able to walk down the hall and say, hey, if you feel like this is a great place, let folks know that means a lot to people.
I think it would help too if, as your staff are showing people around, when they see a resident who's open to doing this, that they actually stop and talk with them.
Definitely.
Rather than keeping on going.
Yeah, no, we I can tell you right now, a big initiative that we have as an entire organization is to what I like to say, be in the moment. So sometimes in our day-to-day operations, we're always focused on what we have to do next.
Right.
I know that's how it is for me. I look at my to-do list and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I got to do
Right.
the next thing. But what's really encouraged as a community and as an organization is be in the moment. If you're with a prospective resident, there is nothing else that's out there or that is important as being in that moment.
Right.
And so what you're going to see is our sales counselors, our sales staff are slowing down. We're taking our time. We are making sure that we talk about the things that are important to them. So I think naturally you're going to start seeing that, but I also encourage our residents who see us, don't be shy. Come say hi. We'd love to see you.
Right. I think that's true. Okay, we still have a few minutes. If you have anything else you want to share.
Yeah, so one of the things that is important to us as a department is we want to make sure that we're always communicating with our residents. One of the things that we're very well aware of is with all the construction and all the events that are happening at Green Spring, we want to make sure that our residents are informed. So the commitment that we're making with our event coordinator is that we're going to be updating our events into the flash so that folks know when events are happening and what the typical size is going to be so that we know if there's traffic implications. We want to make sure that should you have family members, friends, and an event you personally are having, that you know what's happening on a particular day so that you can plan accordingly, because the last thing that I ever want to do is for someone not to be able to do something simply because there are 100 folks here for a sales event or we have our expo.
Right.
So we really want to make sure that we're communicating effectively and with time. So you're going to start seeing information from us on the flash. I'm going to be partnering with GSV-TV to get that information up here too.
I think with the print shop closing, it's going to be a little more difficult to get information out if people aren't aware of where to get that information.
Right.
But if it's going to be in the flash, that of course comes to our cubby.
Right.
And if people will just read what's in their cubby rather than saying, oh, it's just a junk mail and throw it away, then they'll get the information.
Everyone who's listening to us today, read the flash.
Right.
I read the flash because we get it electronically, and there's information that I didn't even know that I think is very important to know.
It is.
So I would certainly encourage that you see it. Please read through it. It's got some great information.
And it comes out, what, weekly or?
Yes, I do believe it's weekly.
Yeah. So I think it's a way of communicating what's going on.
Definitely. Again, we want to communicate. We never want to inconvenience anyone.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that you know what to expect on any given day. Which it's great to know. Hey, if we have our expo on a particular day, which I can tell everyone right now, it's March 6th.
Okay.
Okay. So
and where is it going to be?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's going to be either in Hunter's Crossing or Village Square. I think the final details are still being finalized.
That's to be expected, but I was just wondering which one.
Yeah, if you were to ask me on the spot, I want to say it's going to be Village Square, but I just have to double check. March 6th, that's our big expo. You're gonna
What
expect
day of the
about
week is that?
That March 6th. I want to say it's a Friday.
Friday.
So you're gonna see 200 plus people.
Right.
A bunch of staff members, vendors that are going to be here. So I would say plan accordingly. That you're going to see some activity here at Green Spring. And so it's things like that we want to make sure we communicate.
Okay, one other thing. Because of newcomers who may not understand the opportunities for volunteering with sales. So, the greeters and all this kind of thing. Can you go into that just briefly? Yeah,
we welcome any support, anyone who's interested in working with us at any given time. So if you ever have an interest in, coming to an event and greeting folks and welcoming them into your home, if you would be open to sitting down with folks at a table and discussing what life is like here at Green Spring, if you'd want to show your apartment, if you would like to go up in front of a crowd and speak with me in front of 100 people and talk through what life is like at Green Spring, let us know. We'd love to sign you up. We have trainings twice a year to let you know how we would like the job to be done and certain things for you to think about so that you feel well prepared to be able to support us. But we certainly welcome it. We have at least 50 people that help us on any given day, and so we'd love more.
Yeah, okay. Keep that in mind. That's one of those volunteer opportunities we've been talking about.